Konnichiwa, hello, hola, turubim. ¿Cómo estás? What it do? Welcome to episode 8, part 8 of the Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James incident. This is the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Per usual, you should definitely know that and be comfortable if you made it all the way to episode 8. That also means that I'm putting out some pretty good stuff that's interesting to you. So if you do care, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you. I'm humble. And today we're going to get to Stephen A. Smith, excuse me, responding to Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade and what they were saying about how it's deeper than, just Bronny, right? And this is interesting now because we started off, it was supposed to be about Bronny. That's what LeBron said. Then he starts talking to Richard Jefferson, and he's not really talking about Bronny. He's talking about me as a dad. And then it just does all this extra gymnastics, and now as we're getting closer to the end of this thing, it seems like it's definitely personal between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron, not ever having a great relationship. But what confuses me is I've never seen Stephen A. Smith go out of his way to say anything bad consistently about LeBron. I've seen Stephen A. Smith take up for LeBron, opposite of Skip Bayless, the guy that has gone after LeBron and some of his nonsense from day one. I do think Skip overdoes it at times and did overdo it at times, just like he does with the Cowboys, obviously. And I think he's obsessed with Jordan. I do believe that as well. However, I think that some of the things he used to say about LeBron has some validity. The things that were objective. Some of the things were just weird, right? Some of the things were just weird. But that doesn't mean it was all bad. But either way, Stephen A. Smith used to stick up for LeBron. Now, and we also learned that Stephen A. Smith was going out of his way to make it not about Bronny, to protect the James family. Even when he knew it was nonsense, like a lot of us did. And we're sitting up here like, what? He was clapping like a trained seal, still being fraudulent, because I think Stephen A. Smith is kind of snakish, man. He's where the clout and the money and the power will benefit him. And I think that's honestly one of the reasons he's been hesitant on LeBron. But he's been nothing but he's done everything except pour honey all over himself, like Shannon Sharpe had mentioned before. That's the only thing he didn't do is drop down to his knees and praise and bow to LeBron James and pour honey all over himself. That's the only thing he didn't do. Otherwise, he's been as politically balanced as he can possibly be. He has Stephen A. has LeBron ranked second. Only player he has over him is Michael Jordan. The reasons he doesn't rank Kobe over him are stupid, but they're his reasons. And you can't be mad at somebody for their opinion. Actually, that's kind of backwards because I just said they're stupid. They're stupid in my opinion. But in his opinion, it works for him. So fine. Who am I to him as far as opinions go? It's up for you people as the audience to decide. But yeah, and now we're back at the point where it's like even Melo and Wade are like, yeah, but it seems more personal. Like he just has a beef with Stephen A. Smith and it just boiled over. And he's using this as an excuse. And that's where I get frustrated because, again, like one of my biggest gripes with LeBron James is the lying, man. The lying and the passive-aggressive behavior. You say what you want about certain people, certain players. I never had an issue with people that are honest. They could be mean. They could be nasty. They could be downright ridiculous at times with their anger and their meanness. But I never had that big of an issue with those people. You know who they are. You know what they're going to say. You know what they're going to do. You know how they're going to treat you because they already told you they don't like you. I have a problem with this passive-aggressive behavior where we're sitting up here like, I'm going to get this guy traded behind the closed doors. I'm not going to tell him that I think he's trash. I'm just going to get him traded. Like stuff like that and backhanded comments. Kendrick Perkins even said it. And Kendrick Perkins is another LeBron zealot. But at the end of the day, he's even said like, yo, put a name on it. All this passive aggressive stuff is too much for me. It's too much for me. I personally can't deal with it. If I feel strongly enough about something to say something about it, then I'm going to say it with my chest. And I'm going to choose my words carefully, but I'm going to make my point known. You can do both of those things at the same time. So let's get into what Stephen A. Smith is talking about as he listens to Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade talk. And in fact, we're not going to listen to that because we already did that last video. We already went through that in incident part 7. So we're going to jump into what Stephen A. Smith's thoughts are about listening to what Melo and Wade had to say.
I'm going to drop the mic on all of this right now once and for all. We going to put this to bed. I want to thank Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony for saying what they said. Some of the details were missed. Like, for example, he didn't see me, warm-ups because I didn't get there until a few minutes into the first quarter. But when you sit in courtside, they kind of know who's going to be there. And I'm quite sure he was alerted I was going to be there, but that's neither here nor there. D. Wade is told 1,000% truth when he said what he texted me and said to me, because we do have a relationship. I love that brother. That's my dog. And I feel the same way about Carmelo Anthony. We all go back years. And I love them both. So I really appreciate the conversation that they had. And I appreciate the perspective that they both provided, because for the most part, it was pretty spot on. A couple of things that need to be noted. Like Melo said, it's been stewing for years. See, what I've gotten pissed about with this particular subject is that too many people are not touching on the truth. Melo and D. Wade did. Me and LeBron don't have a relationship. LeBron don't mess with me and I don't mess with him. I respect the hell out of him. He's number 2 on the list all time. And I didn't always feel this way about him. There are times I didn't like how he treated black media. I'm not talking about myself because I'm on a certain level and I watched how others got treated and I didn't like that. But it didn't take away from his unquestionable greatness, his deified status that he has earned as one of the top 2 or 3 greatest players in the history of basketball.
So we're just going to stop for a second right there because there's a couple things that he said. So number one, he does not have a relationship with LeBron James. Fine and fair. That's what Melo and Wade said. I never knew that. So I'm sure that some of y'all have to be thinking the same thing. I thought he had to have some type of relationship with LeBron James. I got to say, everybody else that speaks this highly of LeBron overall usually has some type of relationship, if not being paid by Clutch directly. Now, Stephen A. Smith has said a little bit more than most. Kendrick Perkins, I know, has to be somewhere on that payroll. However, he sometimes says some things outside of what people might deem to be appropriate for a LeBron James employee, a Clutch employee. But Stephen A. Smith teeters that line, but I thought they had some type of relationship that was better than this. Apparently they don't. Here's a couple things I can't stand, though, about what he said. Deified. Deified starts talking about God level. Freak out of here, man. No, we're not doing that. We're not putting nobody, we're not saying God level when you act and behave like this. Why are you doing that, Stephen A. Smith? He tried to punk you in front of millions of people. He probably did punk you. I'm being nice. He made you look silly. And you're going to call him a deified being? Please, man. What does he gain by punking you? That's what deities do. They go for people that they know they got an advantage over, who they know are going to submit to their clout and power. That's cowardly, in my opinion. And you know what? Let me take that back. I don't want to call him a straight up coward for that, but I mean, he was, like Kenyon Martin said 2 episodes ago in episode 6. He knew who he was doing that to. The Lord knew who he was doing that to. Kenyon Martin again said the Lord knew not to put me in situations like that because he knew things was going to get out of hand. I might be leaving in handcuffs. So before you go and give him deified status, relax. He knew what he was doing, my guy. He knew what he was doing. He knew who he was doing it to. Also, pause. No bad boy. No Diddy. Okay? So let's let's get that straight right there. Get that straight right off the back. Okay? And also, Stephen A. Smith, going through the accolades and saying he earned to be the top 3. No, I don't believe that either. Again, this is just my opinion. Please don't hate me. This is my opinion. You're not LeBron. I'm not LeBron. Okay? Anybody that I talk about on here, Kobe's my favorite player. Maybe you don't like Kobe. If you say something about Kobe that I think is ridiculous, I'm going to give you the reasons why it's ridiculous. But I'm not going to hate you. That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Unless you're just outright egregious with it, I could see myself feeling the type of way because that's my favorite player. But overall, it's just your opinion versus my opinion. And in my opinion, in this situation right here, he's saying, oh, he's top 3, he's earned all that. No, he hasn't, man. In my opinion, he ran to super teams, which has been ridiculous. On his watch, the All-Star game and a lot of the league has fallen apart. Superstars are getting, I'm not going to say they're lazy because the top guys still work. Excuse me. Obviously, they put in the work. But part of this watch is his, Curry's, and Durant's. This is all on them. But more so on LeBron, because more so than Curry and KD, LeBron wants to be in the spotlight. He wants to be the top dog. He wants to be the GOAT. He thinks he's the GOAT. He called himself the GOAT. I have not seen Curry or KD do that. And in Curry and KD's defense, they're very respectful of the generations before them. They have always been that way, which makes them much more likable, in my opinion. This is my opinion again. If you like LeBron, fine. I'm just telling you what I'm observing. Call me out on what I'm observing. Don't call me out on potential feelings. You understand? So Stephen A. Smith is basically saying that LeBron James deserves all these things, everything he deserves. He deserves this, he deserves that. That's Stephen A. Smith's opinion. I'm not going to dispute that in this video, but at the end of the day, bro, look at the stuff he's doing to you and that he put you through. And you're saying he deserves. He bought up a lot of the media. He's been running from super team to super team. He's gotten a bunch of teammates traded. He's gotten coaches fired. All superstars get coaches fired and hired to an extent. That I understand. But with him, it's definitely his hand being more in control of that. He is definitely more of a GM by far than any player we've ever seen. And he definitely, no matter what Adam Silver tells you, uses clutch to help him get in and out of these sticky situations that he himself even creates. He manipulated the draft for his son, which is why we're even having this conversation and why we're going over this Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron incident in the first place. These are all things that he's done, that he's had hands in, and you're going to sit up here and still kiss his behind after he punked you in front of millions of people. And this is where me and Stephen A. Smith, again, I just don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. Who else had to, you said he earned all these things, right? Who else had to do all this stuff? Please tell me. I've been paying attention to basketball hardcore for at least the past 20 years. At least. And I've never seen any of this before in my life from the greatest players that I've seen with my own eyes. Or I've never heard about it from my OGs, from the players I didn't get to watch. Why is it just this guy that gets into nonsense like this? And then you still want to say he deserves it. No, well, he deserves everything he's dealing with too. Let's continue.
And I never deviate from that. I've always been kind to his family. I think his wife is the first lady of the NBA, class personified. I think his mom is an absolutely wonderful woman. I don't have to talk to Randy much. That's a good brother. Rich Paul and me are pretty damn cool. Rich is good people. So I'm cool with Mav as well. And various other people. But me and LeBron, we don't roll like that. High and by. He ain't have much use for me, and I sure don't have much use for him.
Cap, you have a lot of use for him. That's why you just spent another 5 minutes kissing his butt before you decided to tell us the truth about y'all's situation. For somebody you have no use for, you still have a lot of butt kissing going on here. a lot of his wife and his mom and his grandmother and his second and third cousin. Who the heck is Randy, by the way? He mentioned some dude named Randy. I don't know who Randy is. I don't know who the heck Randy is. So again, man, oh Lord. Even when you feel a slight bit of sympathy for Stephen A. Smith, you realize his fraudulence cannot be overlooked. I promise you, a lot of you guys got to realize this, man. Sometimes people are wrong, sometimes they right, but the what do they say? The tiger doesn't change his stripes, or the zebra doesn't change his stripes? I'm pretty sure it's zebra. They can't change their stripes. And another thing, funny fact about zebras, I've always been obsessed with animals, by the way. I don't want any, I don't want to take care of any, because that takes a lot of work. But I've always liked watching them on TV and learning new things about them. Zebras all have different stripes, by the way. Every single one. Not one zebra has the same stripes. And that's why they say a zebra can't change its stripes. They may look the same to us, but truthfully, none of their stripes are exactly the same, which is crazy. Look at God. But that's to say, Stephen A. Smith, even when you feel a tad bit of sympathy for this man, and you feel like, dang, this is kind of messed up what he's going through. He's doing it to himself too. Don't feel too much sympathy for this man. He's just doing his job. Kind of. He just can't stop kissing this man's butt, no matter what. I feel like if LeBron would have actually punched him in the face, he would have been like, knuckles. Well, LeBron wanted me to understand what it tastes like to taste the knuckles of a black billionaire, or something stupid like that, man. Who knows? Let's continue.
And that was cemented when he did what he did the other day, because you rolled up on me knowing that I wouldn't have a chance to respond unless I was willing to make a scene, which was at courtside while the national televisions were rolling, on the day that my new contract had been announced to the world. But it doesn't stop me from being fair. It's not going to stop me from doing my job. My issue, which is why I appreciated where Melo went, because Melo put it where the GOATs can get it. We don't have that kind of relationship. So what the hell you use your son for? I'm shitting on your son. That's not true. Bronny James, that is not true. To the James family and all your close confidants and loved ones, that is not true. I have video, documentation with me refusing to cover Bronny, never watching him out of respect for the family. Because if Stephen A. rolls into a gym or an arena and I see him, everyone's going to ask for my critique of him, and I have been on the record publicly stating that's not fair to that kid, because his father is one of the greatest ever, and they're going to judge him harshly, and I didn't want to be a part of it. I can look into the camera and look at Bronny James and say, factually, that is not correct. I have not been shitting on that kid at all. That is factually incorrect. Now, D. Wade says, well, you were talking about him, but no, I really wasn't. The reason I say that is because, as Rich Paul pointed out, when he said I could have contextualized it better, it's not foreign to me that a second-round pick will come into the NBA and is not ready yet, and they'll just work hard, go in the G League, come back and forth, and they'll get better. Just like Kenyon Martin told me his son did when I was on Gil's Arena last week.
Just to drop in real quick, and this is again where you do feel a little bit of sympathy for Stephen A. Smith, because at the end of the day, he's right. He did not say anything about Bronny. And like he said, why bring your son into it when he has nothing to do with it? So this is where I'm going to go back to again. People aren't going to like what I have to say, but listen, LeBron James is responsible for this, man. You're responsible. You're responsible for why we even know Bronny, man. I don't know who Steph's son is. What is Steph's son's name? What is his name? And he's not an adult yet or anything like that. I know Deuce Tatum, but anybody else got kids? Anybody else got kids that I need to think about? Who are these people? But we know who Bronny James is, and that's by design. If LeBron didn't want it, we wouldn't know him. But on top of that, Stephen A. Smith wasn't talking about him. And then Stephen A. Smith said, what? why did you bring your son into this? Like, why would you do that? If you're LeBron James, everybody tells me how great of a person this guy is, how great of a father he is. He's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. You brought your son into a situation so that you could do whatever you wanted to do to Stephen A. Smith over some... We'll see more, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go into the, it's because I got him second. Because of that? You bring your son into this situation and make it about your son when it's about you? Why would I... Bro, again, I have a kid. I have a son. Why would I do that? What would make me want to do that? If I have a problem with another man, why would I use my son to confront that man? I would just go confront him if I have a problem with him. There's no human being on this planet that scares me so much that I will not speak my piece. I'd rather be dead. I'd rather be dead, not breathing, than run in fear from a human being or use my son as a scapegoat so I can confront another man. Let's continue.
So that's not foreign to me. I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about his father. And why was I talking about his father? Because not me, but the media, some publicly, many privately, literally labeled it parental abuse, that he would say, my son is better than some of these dudes in the league right now. You want me? Draft my son. It ain't even about the money at this point. I want to play in the league with my son for the year. You did that. That was LeBron James. That was not Stephen A. Smith. I did not do that. So when he came up to me claiming, my son, I didn't know what he was talking about because I'm the one person who didn't until January 29th. And even then, I don't believe I did it. I pointed out how his start was very, very bad, but his performance in the G League was good. Let him go there and get himself better because you, as the dad, put him in this microscopic spotlight. And you're going to subject him to stuff that is going to be too much. That's all I was saying. So we got the Draymond Greens out there with his damn podcast. For some reason, suddenly forgetting my character and who I am. And he's talking about, it was weak of Stephen A. to say that LeBron was weak or to bring it up as a father. And oh, by the way, where I'm from, we put hands on you. You sure you should be saying that, Draymond? You sure? I mean, you sure that's the words you want to use? We should be putting hands on somebody. Has that not worked against you? Jordan Poole, Nurkic, Rudy Gobert. I mean, I'm just asking. Is that the smartest thing for you to say? Particularly when you want to be in this business when it's all over? Is that the smartest thing for you to say? But you go ahead, bro. God bless you. I understand where you rolling now. And how you rolling. It's cool. I got nothing bad to say about Draymond. I still got love for Draymond.
My goodness, Stephen A. Smith. How many people can basically take a dump on you and you still have love for them, man? My goodness, brother. Stand up for yourself. This is pretty disgusting. I gotta say, it's pretty disgusting. Pretty bad. He's right about everything that he's saying. He's on point. Draymond Green, I'm actually going to do a video on that. I thought about making that a part of this series, but this thing is going very long already. I am going to do a video, and I may link it to even this one, but I won't make it a part of the incident. It'll just be wild orangutan, mongoose, beaver, internationally endangered species Draymond Green and his wild antics, and I'll attach it to this incident. But he's right about Draymond. Draymond's talking all this crap. Where I'm from, we put hands on you and blah, blah, blah. Fine. That's fine, Draymond Green. But here's the problem. Stephen A. Smith hit it right on the head. He politely told you to kick rocks and get the heck out of here. Because we already know you're a wild orangutan out there on the basketball court. You attack people's private parts with an accuracy that's never been seen ever before in the history of mankind. You're putting people in chokeholds. You're doing spinning lariats and spinning roundhouses and super special punches all over the court. Doing falcon punches on your teammates like it's Smash Brothers out here, all over the daggone place. We know. So yes, Stephen A. Smith, we know who Draymond Green is to be talking about I'll put hands on you. We know you put hands on people, your teammates, when they're not paying attention. Got it. Got it. Come on, man. Oh, man. This guy. Thanks, Draymond, for the update. Appreciate it, bro. Come on, man. Draymond Green he's a clown, man. And he's a LeBron James psychopath, not even a zealot. He's a LeBron James psychopath. Went from competing against this man and calling him all types of bad names and attacking his private parts to no longer attacking LeBron James's private parts and telling us how much he loves LeBron James every day. Got it. Please, man. Please. And Stephen A. Smith is right. We already know you got a weird temper, son. And you're going to sit up here and talk about where I'm from. We put hands on people. But you trying to be on ESPN with all these good, peaceful folks and wherever else, TNT or wherever you want to be. But that's really who you are. And I'll tell you one other thing about Draymond Green. While we're talking about him quickly, because he just gets on my nerves, my last nerves. He got into a beef with Ron Artest when Ron Artest was still on the Lakers. And when Ron Artest grabbed him up, he stopped. He didn't take that no further. No further. He's another dude that don't want no parts of a player like Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart is a real one. I could watch Isaiah Stewart play basketball all day because it just reminds me of when men were men. Pause, no Diddy. Okay? He knows the right people to put hands on. Draymond Green. He knows the right people. He knows the right people, man. He knows the right people. I am surprised that Nurkic didn't finish him off. That is surprising to me. Nurkic, you're a little too big for that boy to be letting him put his hands on you like that. You should have finished him off. But Rudy Gobert, the weak Eiffel Tower, he ain't doing nothing. Jordan Poole is out here trying to be Pretty Boy Cardi or something like that. I don't even really know who Pretty Boy Cardi is. It sounds like it works. Pause, no Diddy, because I don't be walking around telling men they're pretty. But he picked the right people. Similar to LeBron, when they decide to fight a real one, call me. Otherwise, it's just for entertainment purposes, watching Draymond Green looking like a wild beaver mongoose hybrid out there on the basketball court acting nuts. And normally I say, listen, I try to come respectfully for people, but he talks about, in his video, you'll see, he talked about not having respect for Stephen A. Smith. I don't have respect for you, Draymond Green. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'll give you this. You're a champion. You give that team an edge with your dirty antics and tactics. But if it was up to me, I would have traded you a long time ago. I would rather have Klay Thompson. Now, that's a guy I respect. I would have traded you 10,000 years ago. Triple single behind. So let's continue. And actually hold that thought, because before we continue here, I just wanted to point out again, like Stephen A. Smith said, he also said, I know where you stand. Hey, Stephen A., how long did it take you to figure out where Draymond Green stands? This is again where he be talking and I'd be like, what are you talking about, bro? Everybody in their mama and their mama's mama already knew that Draymond Green was going to do everything he could to hang on to the leg of LeBron James like he was the fourth child that LeBron had. What do you mean I now know where you stand? Where have you been, Stephen A.? This is what I'm talking about with the clout chasing and trying to fit in with these guys and not rub shoulders the wrong way. Man, forget Draymond Green. Forget LeBron James. They are not your friends. Again, this is like high school stuff, man. Why do I have to tell you this? They're not your friends. You got $100 million now, bruh. Act like it. Cut it out.
I'm supposed to ignore that while he's wearing a Lakers uniform? While he's getting money that most people wouldn't get that he deserves because of LeBron, because LeBron is underpaid.
You know who else is underpaid? Everybody that works their butts off and doesn't get paid enough. Teachers are underpaid. Police officers are underpaid. Social workers are very much underpaid for the things they have to deal with. Childcare people are probably underpaid. The people that fix the roads in the hot sun with no type of cover over them are probably underpaid. Stop telling me about this man being underpaid to play basketball. This is not a LeBron James thing. This is all basketball players. Basketball players and football players get paid to play a game for a living. Other than that, their contribution to society is entertainment. Now, I can respect some more than others, but the reason why some of these guys have such inflated egos is because Stephen A. Smith keeps telling them they're underpaid, like the rest of us that are actually contributing to society are not underpaid. Please stop saying that, man. It drives me nuts.
I'm supposed to ignore all of this while you're in the purple and gold? While you're wearing an NBA uniform? While you're receiving an NBA check? When I covered the NBA, that's where I disagreed with Dwayne Wade. When he said, I'm coming at you, I'm like, Because the Dwayne Wade that I know would have picked up on I was talking about D. Wade, not his son. LeBron tried to say I was talking about his son when he knew good and damn well I was talking about him. We sit here today, it's a week later, and I'm not going to talk about this anymore. But let me say this to y'all. It's a week later. I'm not backing up from a word I said. I was right. I was doing my job. And in the process of doing my job, I wasn't doing my job when I didn't talk about him.
And I gotta say, this is 1,000,000% facts. He's right. He was literally, and like we've been saying, my man was not doing his job to support people that don't like him, that don't mess with him like that. As we clearly are seeing here. My man was literally not doing his job. Because he would have did his job on everybody else. Shoot. Let Kwame Brown have a son that made it to the NBA somehow, but was struggling. Oh, my goodness. Ho, ho, ho. Can you imagine what Stephen A. Smith would have did to a kid with no clout like that? Somebody that he couldn't chase behind and hide under his umbrella of power to gain respect? Can't imagine.
All of those years, I cover basketball. I don't just cover the NBA. I am a sports broadcaster, which means that it was perfectly within my right to go to Sierra Canyon and cover him, to go to USC and cover him, to go to the G League if I wanted to and cover him, because I cover sports. To get on me otherwise is to get on me for doing my job. So that's where a Draymond is wrong. And talking about father. Why did I mention father? Because you said my son is better than some of the dudes in the league right now before he got here. And you said you want me draft my son. At this point, it ain't about the money. I just want to play with him for a year. That's what you said. Which is why a whole bunch of people who ain't Stephen A. Smith, who don't have my microphone, who don't have my platform, was talking about him behind his back and talking about LeBron and what he was doing as a father who happens to be the greatest attraction in the game today. Melo's right. This wasn't about Bronny. This was an excuse that LeBron was looking for to get at me, which, by the way, would not have been a problem. We could have met in the back. We could have had a man-to-man conversation where I had an opportunity to respond and point to him about what he did to put his son in this microscopic spotlight that I personally have tried to avoid for 3 years.
Let me help you out, Stephen A. He doesn't want to meet you in the back. It's been a few. You said it's been a week as far as when you did this video, right? From your first initial response. He doesn't want to meet you in the back. That's what you're realizing, brother. You're investigating. I'm investigating everything off of what you're saying and what you're. I'm doing my research off of your research, looking at other podcasts like you're looking at other podcasts, and you already found the answer to your question, my brother. He doesn't want to meet you. He didn't want to meet you. This isn't a friendship goes back and forth, or a business partnership goes back and forth. He doesn't believe that you deserve to answer. That's what he really feels like. He feels like he's better than you. His ego tells him that you don't deserve to answer him, the king. The guy that you postulate yourself for, drop down on your knees and praise and bow to. As much as you possibly can, even when you're trying to be tough and get back at him, you're still doing it. That doesn't garner respect. Let me give you a little history here. Let me give you a little story. And honestly, I'm not even gonna give you a full story. I'm just gonna give you a kind of a little bit of the illustration, or call this what you want, right? When you look at leaders of the free world, right? People. I don't want to go political, but if you think about who's leading this country, the Donald, if you're in the United States of America, and these other countries, whether it be Zelensky and with what country is he with? Ukraine, the guy in Canada, I'm forgetting his name, the woman that leads Mexico. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting all the names. I'm not political. Okay? And then you have Putin in Russia, right? And you don't gotta like the Trump. I understand the Donald guy. Nobody has to like him. I'm not political, so I don't care if you like him or don't like him. I don't care if you like this person or that person. It doesn't matter to me. But one thing that you have to admit is that when these people take each other seriously, they don't play stupid games. Right? They don't play stupid games. If y'all heard about what happened between the Donald and Zelensky, apparently, he was kind of like, just get out of here. I don't want to listen because you're playing around. Yeah, he's not doing that to Putin. Putin is a serious dude. You're not playing around with Russia like that. Whoever the leaders of China are, you're not playing around with them like that. Right? You're not playing these games with some of these people. And it's the same thing with Stephen A. Smith, man. LeBron James doesn't see you as somebody on his level. He sees you as less than. And the more you gravel at your feet and kiss his butt, it's not going to make him think he did anything wrong. Not that you could change his mind anyway, but he doesn't see you as a real threat. You're not Russia to his America. You're not America to his Russia. You're a secondary country in his mind. Right? A third world country in his mind. You don't matter that much to him. That's why he did this. That's why he did it the way he did it. If he thought for 1 second that you would turn this into a much bigger deal, because you still haven't turned it into the deal I would have turned it into if I was you. Woo! But he would have already known that if I was famous like you and a journalist like you, the way I handle things in my mindset, again, no violence needed. No curse words needed. But somebody like him would have known when it comes to me. People know when they deal with me in real life, not on social media or anything like that. In real life, this is not going to be an easy win. This brother knows what he's talking about. I take care of myself physically. This is not going to be no easy, flawless victories over here. So if you approach me, you better approach me correct, or there's going to be consequences. He doesn't see the consequences in you, Stephen A. Smith. He doesn't feel like there's a consequence. There's no consequence to that. So you said he could have just approached. I would have been fine with that if he approached me like, no, man, no. He didn't approach you like a man because he doesn't see you like Russia. He doesn't see you like America. He doesn't see you like China. You're some country over there in the backwoods that can't defend itself. So why treat you seriously? That's the facts. We're going to end this video here, and we'll finish the rest of Stephen A. Smith's response to Melo and Wade, because this video is getting long. We're at 40 minutes. I'm not trying to keep you out here for 3-4 hours. But we got to break this down, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says stuff, they say stuff, and you have to break it down. Like, really think about what's being said. That's why I'm taking time out to really go through this Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James incident, because it's deeper than rap. It's on some A minor stuff, man. And it's about time we looked at both sides, called both of them out for the nonsense, and just kept it real. Stop being so surface level about everything. You know, and to an extent, that's messing up sports, in my opinion, too. The surface level thoughts. We used to be a society of people that really held sacred things and had sacred honor and took things seriously. There's a dude named Royce White, tried to play in the NBA. Some things happened, I guess, with his anxiety, the way he explains it. But then, at first, they said it was just his anxiety. But in his mind, he's saying that it started with some anxiety, but then they were scared of him. And I understand why. If you listen to the brother talk, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He's a man's man. You know, he's going to bring the hardship. He's not going to come with this Stephen A. Smith stuff, this soft stuff here. If you cross him, you're going to know it. Right? And I'm bringing him up to say, like, listen, like, how you carry yourself, how you handle yourself, the guy is very deep, whether you agree with him or not. He's extremely deep. And that's how I try to be, man. I'm not sitting up here with this surface level stuff. It's messed up the league. You know, you may ask yourself, why is the All-Star game bad? Why aren't the players playing through injuries and trying to be out there and support their teammates and this, that, and other? It's because everybody's surface level. They look at the statistics and they look at the money. But there's so much more to the beauty of basketball than that. So we need to stop being so surface level. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I know I'm continuing this on, and I said I was going to end this video, but just might as well throw this out there as I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, well, why is it that since Kobe Bryant retired, many people tell you the All-Star game has not been the same. And then I listened to a video where Kobe Bryant was speaking highly of LeBron James. He was speaking of him very highly. He said, without me being in the league, he's the second best player. So he has a lot of respect for LeBron as far as a player, right? But then I think about, well, but then why is it so different now? If LeBron's the second best in Kobe's mind when Kobe was playing at a high level, why is it so different now that LeBron is the best? But at the end of the day, Kobe Bryant wanted to rip your heart out of your chest to prove he was the best. You go back to one of those All-Star games, he was locking LeBron James down to prove that he was the best. This is me. This is my league. I own it. I run this thing around here. Right? And that's beyond surface level. That's beyond money. That's beyond what the media is saying. That's beyond accolades. This guy is the guy they think is better than me. I'll crush him. And if you don't look surface level, if you're only surface level and you don't ever go deep on things, you may never understand that. But that's the real. That's how it's really supposed to be. So, thank you for listening to this video again. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let people know that, you know, we're doing something different over here. We're going deep on something. Pause, no Diddy, no bad boy. Because a lot of people just like to stay surface level, man. Let's take this deeper. Let's really break this down. Almost like investigative journalism of some sort. Let's get down to the facts of the matter, okay? And let's make it practical. Like, why does this fit? Why does this matter to your regular life? And like I said, sports is a microcosm of life, so nothing is happening different. It's just how much time do you want to take to really break it down? So please like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you. Very humble if you've made it this far. We're almost there. I know I said earlier maybe one more episode, 2 more. Hopefully we'll be able to wrap this up in 2. Much love. Tell that somehow you never get over leaving